meditation. He gives a term, A% meditation. And he talks about avatar. And avatar, paritrana, sadhuna, vinashaya. Wherever adharma, Krishna says, I will come. So Vethathiri Maharishi says a different word, that's all. This is the process of nature whereby the fraction demands and totality supplies. Whenever there is a lot of upheaval in society, there is so much fractional consciousness praying for some deliverance. We all say that the rupee is falling. We all pray, then an avatar will come. That's what Vethathiri Maharishi also says. Macrocosm, microcosm comprise the universe. All functions arise from the macrocosm, which is the total consciousness, and end in the microcosm, which is ourselves, fractional consciousness. Then he says, how did the universe begin? We are not going to go into Maharishi's theory of the origin of the universe. He says the first static state manifested as the Akashic field. This is what he says, Akashic field, which is written in the Hindu scriptures. The energy field is tightly packed with basic units of energy. And Maharishi says man's mind cannot even imagine the origin of this energy field and the process by which it came into being. Scientific investigation cannot comprehend it either, because the scientific tools available for investigation are too gross when compared to the Akashic field. So that is why a lot of research is being done on consciousness. They try to do it with physical tools like computers, computer modeling, and mathematical analysis and so on. With only increasing confusion. And he says, he concludes, all the attempts of man to enjoy the resources and beauties of nature, to understand its mysteries and secrets, to discover the relation to nature, are the inevitable result of the urge of mind that is but a fraction of the whole to realize itself and merge with the total consciousness. So the fractional consciousness always wants to merge with the total consciousness. That is why it's quite unhappy as long as it is confined in the total consciousness. And this is the final paragraph which says, I have spent a major portion of my lifetime inquiring into this subject and the various theories connected with it. Through meditation introspection, no guru gave it to him. No God appeared to him and gave it to him. He himself says in his own words, through meditation and introspection, I have streamlined my mind and focused my energies in order to unravel the mysteries of the universe. And here is the beautiful feeling. I was filled with joy when stage by stage nature revealed itself and the secrets of the evolution of the universe. Is it not? Correct, Dana? Every revelation was an experience, was a revelation, and he says with ideas contained in the ancient texts. This is what Maharishi acknowledges. So whatever he is saying, whatever is acknowledged is there in the ancient text. I will end with a poem. I started with the English translation of Maharishi's poem. I end with another poem in Tamil itself because I don't have English translation and I don't want to attempt it. இன்ப ஊற்று என நிறைந்த இறைவா எனும் போதிலே ஏற்படும் ஒரு இன்பமதை எவ்வாறு சொல்வேன் நன்மை தரும் நவக்கோள்கள் நட்சத்திர கூட்டம் நான் அகத்தே காணுகின்றேன் நடனமாடும் காட்சியாய் உன் பெரிய பேரியக்க ஊமையற்ற ஆற்றலால் உலகங்கள் அத்தனையும் உருளுதே ஒரு கொத்து போல் தன்மயமாய் தானதுவாய் தவறிடாது இயக்கும் உன் தன்மையினை எண்ண எண்ண தவமது ஆனந்தமே. Thank you very much. Claim to be an authority on either yoga or on Vethathiri Maharishi's philosophy, but I will endeavor to answer to the limited knowledge. Unless more enlightened persons are here in this audience, I will take their help. If you say that you have not understood a single word, I agree with you. Because so much is packed in so little time. But it can be explained provided you give enough time. So, if you have not understood anything, it's not your fault. It is the nature of the subject. Why don't you listened, I suppose?
Yeah, I was listening.
Then what?
Anything looking at Mahari has given a lot of techniques to realize the consciousness, but it is only possible through regular practice. So I don't know how to describe that, but
practice makes perfection. Without practice, how can sadhana? Without sadhana, there is no yoga, nothing. One of my gurus used to say, "Ayasam illada payasam edikadu." Rama used to say that. So unless you make an effort, how will you get? You have to practice. There is no shortcut. Nobody will make you realize, except if God Himself comes.
There are things like, we think certain things, but we talk the same. But there are things we think take into consciousness, but we don't talk. But what happens to those kind of thoughts?
Kandavar Kandila, Kindavar Kandila. What has already been said, a proverb. So what you realize cannot be expressed in words, can never be expressed in words. And whatever is expressed cannot be completely understood by anybody. Because Maharishi is asked by people, Swamiji, he said, நான் உணர்ந்ததை எல்லாம் என்னால் எழுத முடியவில்லை. நான் எழுதினதை நீங்கள் உணர்ந்தால் நான் உணர்ந்ததை நீங்களும் உணரலாம். இல்லையா? Correct? That's what he said. It's true. So realization is beyond words. You cannot get conscious by thinking, reading. You have to become the consciousness. You can become the divine by being divine, because we are divine already. The only thing is illusion. Maya is clouding that. Anavam Kanman Maya. Once you remove the impurities, then the soul will shine. Maharishi says first in our meditation, then in our sleep, then even with our eyes wide open, the inner light will shine. That is why you see great people, they were going about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and so many people who walked on this land. Their inner light was shining. So it is not, you cannot express what you realize. Each one has to realize himself. And nobody can make you realize. It's very difficult, excepting rare cases. Because Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is supposed to have, touched and Vivekananda, and then Vivekananda realized, Narendra, he became Vivekananda. But that is exception, not the rule. We are all ordinary beings. We have to struggle. We have to struggle in the steep path and reach the thing. Maharishi has done it. If we compare our lives with Vethathiri Maharishi's, our life is a bed of roses. He has suffered so much, but still he has given us so much of wisdom. So it doesn't cost us, it doesn't make us any poorer by following what he has taught. That's a very easy method he has taught, and we can realize. He himself said, you can become like me, you can become even greater than me. Which guru has told that? No spiritual guru said that Shishya will become bigger than the guru himself. They will always try to put up. But Maharishi says, all of you will become equal or even better than me. Yes.
Then everything was actually said by Vedas. He also said the same thing.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Yes.
It's again new interpretation on Vedas and Upanishads.
Yes. Yes. No, I understand what you are saying. What you want to ask is it all following our ancient Hindu tradition starting from the Vedas? Or is it different? If that is your question, something like that. It is the same. He has faithfully followed the Vedic tradition. Because Veda says that the Sanatana Dharma, it's not supposed to be religion. Sanatana Dharma, you have to accept the Vedas. Whatever said, because it's only a Dharma which is written in the Vedas. It's not any particular ritual, but how to live, what not to do and what to do. It's Sanatana Dharma. And Maharishi thinks the same thing. Only thing is, instead of giving high philosophical terms which cannot be understood by people, and in olden days, people kept the knowledge as a secret power to put down the masses, to keep the masses in ignorance. See, they wanted to have the power, the spiritual power, by keeping the masses ignorant. That is where the decadence of the Vedic tradition started. Because of selfish interests of a few people. The knowledge was kept away from the common people. So that common people were made to sin and err and not realize and live in squalor and again live and die with the eternal squalor. It's only very great thing like Ramanuja. See, you see, even in those days, Ramanuja was given the Narayana Mantram that you should not give it to anyone because you go to hell. First thing he did was he went to Gopuram and then announced, he called everybody, all castes, untouchables, and gave the thing. When Guru called him, he said, what have you done? He said, I alone can go to hell, Narakam, I don't mind. So people get enlightened. That is the broadness of consciousness. That is to view your fractional consciousness as universal consciousness. All other people have not realized their consciousness. They may know the Vedas, they may know the Upanishads, they may know the mantras, but they have not developed their consciousness. If they have developed their consciousness, they will not have done that. Hindu religion will not be in the sorry state which is now in India, in the land of Bharat.
So he explained the idealism concept in the way of materialistic. He explained idealism in the way
No,
of materialistic.
not in a materialistic way. See, even the Vedas never said you do away with material things. Because the Vedas also says how you can acquire wealth and all that. See, the goddess of Lakshmi concept itself is a material wealth. So, the original scripts, they never asked people to forego material comforts and things. That the great difference between Christianity, for definitely one thing, the present Christianity, not the original Christianity, present Christianity and Hinduism. Because Hinduism never said you give away everything and go to the forest and become a sannyasi. Because of the the grihastha is the most valued thing. Because the whole world, the whole dharma revolves around the grihastha. The grihastha has to earn wealth and have hospitality and can entertain the sannyasis, rishis and brahmacharis and so on. Without grihasthas, the world cannot function, and grihasthas have to be following a dharmic field. That is why all the ways and means of living has been given in the Vedas and Upanishads. Vedas were too abstract and they gave Upanishads and so on. They were trying to do the same thing, but the message has not reached the people. And I would say the blame is entirely on the so-called earlier gurus, because they have failed in their duty to carry the message to the people. If they have carried the message, if they have made the people realize their self, if they have made them conscious, how can other religions enter this land? To tell me, how is it possible? It's not possible. They have failed miserably. Because of that, all strife has come. Of course, Vethathiri Maharishi has gone further. He says one religion, you get hold of all the religious, put them in a room, and they say, you let them agree on one name for God, one religion, and then, but will they agree? You take 4 people in any mutt, either in the Vaishnava mutt or Saiva mutt, and you will have 1,000 different opinions. They are so, even today, they are so busy quarreling themselves, criticizing others, rather than setting an example to the people, or serving the people, or taking the message to the people. That is what is happening all around. See, entire decadence. And Vethathiri Maharishi says, who will do this? He says, America, that's what Vethathiri. Yes, sir. You have to bring the message to the people. So it's our responsibility. But if you analyze how many of us, the followers, so-called inverted commas, followers of Vethathiri Maharishi, are doing that, is a very sad thing. See, otherwise, Tamil Nadu should have become a heaven by now. More than 50 years since Vethathiri Maharishi started his practicing sky principle, Manavala Kale, and now lakhs of people have learned that, they are practicing it, they are benefiting it. But still, why there is crime, why there is problem? Why the political system is not pure, it's becoming from bad to worse. Why? Because we have failed in it. People of sky, we have not done anything. We have other priorities, it is not there. Has he talked about our private agenda in this? No private agenda. Because fractional consciousness cannot have private agenda. How can it have? It can have only one agenda, namely to attain universal consciousness. That's all. We have a private agenda, that means you are cutting yourself off from the universal field. That not only you will never reach moksha, but also prevent others from reaching moksha. Has it answered your question? Has it answered your question? I think it's a very complicated question. It is the experience of all our sky teachers that it is true. Anyone, can you say that it has not worked? See, we have been teaching for a number of years, this Manavala sky. Always people come and say this is what has worked. In the same center also, our students have told. See, relatives who are not on speaking terms for several years and so on, suddenly they come and talk almost normal, or without ourselves doing anything. Well, how? Our consciousness has affected the consciousness. Maharishi has said very clearly, your thoughts is going to affect your biomagnetic waves and is going to affect the universal field. That is why he says don't have negative thoughts. He says very strongly, never have fear and anger. Eliminate it, because all these things are all stored at the Vandandam, universal field, have bad effect. When there was a severe drought in Maharishi's time, I think you will remember that, he says so many people were cursing rain and all that, and so the universal field is reacting. So you can offset it by prayer. And I gave you two examples where the mother, Aurobindo and mother, they were altering the cells by the yoga, and also Yogananda Paramahamsa, who made the rose thorn shed his thorns. That's experiment before. But now you see, Padma is going to talk about Bruce Lipton and others. You see here? Going to talk about a recent thing about how it's a very dramatic thing. I didn't want to touch on that.
Yes.
Because she is going to.
No.
Not now.
Yes.
She's going to talk about that.
No, because a lot of scientists have, doing a research on it. Like
Yes.
one by name Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Yes.
who was talking about this consciousness. I was, it was very astounding for me. Like when I read, and it was so much coinciding with whatever Maharishi has told.
Yes. So I am indeed very thankful to Mrs. Padmavati, because otherwise I would not have come across these things. So she is an indefatigable worker and reader. She reads, goes on reading and goes on seeing documentaries and so on. And she also takes time to forward good documentaries to me. And that is how I came to know of Bruce Lipton and other people. I was very much enlightened. During the past 3 years, since she joined the Department of Philosophy,
So
I have been.
all the credit goes to Dr. Paneerselvam.
Paneerselvam,
Yes.
definitely that's your guru. And during these 3 years, I have benefited a lot, because I know what research is being done abroad through the references given by Mrs. Padma. I didn't purposely touch on that because it will be too wide and it will be taking away from consciousness. Fortunately, Professor Paneerselvam came a little late. Otherwise, he would have said, why are you talking about all this Vethathiri Maharishi and all that, talk only about Vethathiri Maharishi. So before he came, I just talked about all this. So that's why I didn't touch on that, because it will deviate from the talk. Any other question?
Something.
Yes.
Madam, sir, first of all, I'm sorry I came a little late. I just
I used that time to put.
Okay. Sir, thank you very much for a very nice presentation. I would say this is a very scientific paper. Scientifically, you have presented Maharishi's understanding of consciousness. And this month being his birthday, this thing, somehow it coincided. Otherwise, sir should have spoken on Ramalinga Swami. But it so happened that sir has taken this topic, and we are very thankful to you, sir, for your nice presentation. Because most of the time we forget the fact that the indigenous tradition has to be celebrated, and Maharishi is one who is, I would always say, the prophet of the age, and who has worked for the downtrodden and the poor and the neglected people. But there are certain concepts which he has used. See, because we philosophers, we want to be very rigid in the sense,
Yes.
the word should not be very, this thing,
Yes.
very loose.
Yeah.
There is no place for any loose
Yeah.
word in philosophy, that's one thing. So, how, because consciousness, you take consciousness, we try to understand, philosophers try to consciousness as a method or as a procedure by which you can understand the other person, or you can understand the Supreme or the Almighty. But you are making the distinction between, you said, fragmentary consciousness or fractional consciousness and then universal consciousness. These are terms which are bothering all philosophers. And another thing, where did he get all these ideas? Because he studied up to 7th standard, if I am right. Third. But some of his ideas are really philosophical. But at the same time, some of the concepts which he has used are very loose in the sense, for example, while talking about philosopher, now take a thinker like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, we have mentioned, or Swami Vivek, anybody. They analyze problem only from philosophical standpoint. They don't take a jump into science. But here Swami takes a jump and that a leap. That creates a problem. Perhaps we can throw some light on.
Yeah, I understand the problem of the philosophers, but Maharishi, that was not Maharishi's problem, because Maharishi was not bothered about philosophers. He was bothered about the people, about the common man, about the poor people. And in philosophy, you have a paper on interpretation. Papa was telling interpretation, you see. So interpretation